Hi, moms. From all of us here at Amare Global, we want to say welcome and thank you for joining us at the I Am Mom Summit. We are so excited and proud to be co-sponsoring this event to bring you the content, the type of information that might be able to make a difference in your life and the lives of your families. At Amare Global, we are the mental wellness company. We provide natural solutions to the mental wellness challenges of the day, and we certainly encourage you to come and visit us when you get a chance. But for now, it's on to the next great speaker. We hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, hello, and welcome to all of my I Am Mom Summit mommies. My name is Bianca Patterson, and I'm a holistic health coach and a seasonal wellness expert, bringing customized wellness to your lifestyle in every season. I help women to eat and live well in the rhythmic phases and seasons of life. So whether it is supporting women with nutritional and lifestyle advice for dealing with the winter blues, or coaching new mommies with recipes to support and provide maximum nutrition for mom and baby, I am all about supporting women in the transitions of life. My philosophy towards wellness is always mind, body, and spirit, for I believe true wellness encapsulates all three. The way that I do this is by addressing imbalances in the endocrine system, which is essentially our internal mind-body communication system, and by teaching others what it means to live freely, organically, and purely in Christ. I bring wellness to life. I cannot tell you how excited and thrilled I am about this opportunity to speak to you today about a topic that affects us all. Stress. And in our modern day world of competitive jobs, spouses, children, after school activities, play dates, heavy traffic that we sit in literally for 1 to 2 times a day, morning and let's just admit, even afternoon coffee boosts, our constant exposure to electronics. We have iPods, we have iPads, we have iPhones, we have laptops, we have desktops, we have televisions. We are consistently stimulating ourselves, even in our well-intentioned drive for perfection. All of these things are just a few ways in which we are overextending and depleting ourselves regularly. And let's just be honest, we are completely exhausted, right? We're completely exhausted. We're burnt out, we're worn out, we're tired of not amounting to the Wonder Woman that's in our head. The Wonder Woman we so know we can be, but so often pretend to be, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. The title of this session is Overcoming Stress to Release Your Inner Wonder Woman. I'm not sure how many of you have seen the latest Wonder Woman movie that came out just a few months ago, but let me either be the first to tell you or just be another person to come into agreement with you about how awesome that movie was. To be honest, I left the movie empowered and ready to audition and role play for the sequel. I had already planned it in my mind that the first stop for me was a training ground, which was going to be at my local gym in a boxing class. Yes, it literally was that serious. And I don't know about you, but the opening scenes had me at hello. So I just want to set the scene for you. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's okay. You don't have to plug your ears. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you. But if you have seen it, this is going to bring back some powerful memories. So the camera swoops through the training ground, capturing these Amazonian warriors as they practice wrestling, hand-to-hand combat, archery, and horsemanship. They clash on these lofty, like rocky pedestals backed by the tranquil blue ocean. They flip from their horses, braids whipping and armor gleaming in slow motion, mind you, as they smash each other to the ground. It's a pure and physical display of beauty and strength. And it's an empowering sight to see. But one of the greatest sights for me to see, especially as a holistic health coach, and one that you might have missed, really revealed a clue into their wondrous power and ability to sustain it. And the clue was revealed in a brief scene where we discover that they have caves full of pools with restorative waters. See, what the Amazonian women trained for was an extension of their nurturing role to protect their mothers and daughters. But they made sure that they also nurtured themselves as well. They made sure to combat the stress of the field of combat by incorporating stress-reducing tactics. This was an adrenaline-pumping, supercharged movie with more fight than flight. And I realized that this movie, it did depict so much of who we are on both sides of the coin, though. Number one, in our modern day society, stress, or what we call the fight or flight condition, is definitely at play. We can all agree to that. But also, number two, as women, we are wondrous beings. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. But the problem is that we spend more time in the fight and the stress than we are spending in the wonder. So let's talk a little bit about stress first, and then we're going to move into some practical lifestyle strategies on how you can overcome and combat your own stress so that you can live as the fearfully and wonderfully made woman that you are. So we've all at some point in time have experienced it, whether you recognize it or not, because stress is to be expected in life. And in some cases, for short periods of time, such as with exercise. Yes, if you don't know, your body registers your workout as stress. But that type of stress, that short-term stress, is beneficial. Your body definitely responds differently to short-term stress versus long-term stress. Now, short-term stress, like exercise, can also be when you swerve to avoid a car that's veering into your lane. What happens in a situation like this is that it will cause for something called an alarm reaction to happen within your internal system. And this fight or flight response begins with the hormones epinephrine and norepinephrine being released from the adrenal glands. These are two glands that each sit on top of your kidneys. So you have one on each kidney. The adrenals are a part of an intricate hormonal process involving the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. And we call it the HPA axis for short. So you don't have to worry about understanding that long word, unless you want to. But anyhow, so these glands, what they do is they work together to regulate your stress response. But not only do they regulate your stress response, they regulate your mood, your digestion, your immune system, your sex drive, your energy levels, and even your metabolism. These hormones prepare the body for extreme physical exertion. However, with short-term stress, it's quickly relieved and the body can return to normal with little to no harm done. However, when that delicate feedback loop becomes strained, these glands, they weaken and aren't able to do their job effectively. And when stress persists over time, brought on by a myriad of factors that we're going to discuss in just a bit, it becomes termed and known as a long-term stress. And in this case, the brain keeps sending signals out to make more cortisol. So cortisol is what we call in term the stress hormone. And that stress hormone has many effects in the body that are helpful in short-term stress, but it can be damaging in long-term stress situations. So long-term stresses can include things like marital problems, long hours at work, and that's whether you're a stay-at-home mom for a living or working outside of the home. Food allergies and even food sensitivities are long-term stressors. And over-exercising actually is a long-term stress for your body. There are 4 distinct kinds of stresses. And so let's talk about those quickly for a minute. So number 1, you have physical stress, which is things like illness, injury, physical threats or violence, a poor diet. So if you're having nutrient deficiencies, either because your body is having a hard time breaking down your food or even absorbing the nutrients correctly, that can also be a physical stressor. Things like toxins, pesticides, and BPAs that we can find in plastic bottles nowadays are also physical stressors. Extreme temperatures, some medications that you take, as well, surgeries. If you travel a lot, jet lag is a physical stressor, inadequate sleep, tobacco use, alcohol use, drug use, and even for women, our menstruation is a physical stressor as well. Number 2, the other type of category of stressor is a mental stressor. So those are things like isolation, information overload, time pressures, uncertainty and feelings of lack of control, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, relationship difficulties, or even demands that are on your jobs can be a mental stressor. Third, we have emotional stressors, which are things like grief, worry, anger, frustration, anxiety, resentment, boredom, paranoia, and failure. And lastly, which is one that often people don't even realize, and I often need to remind people of, is number 4, perceived stress. And so perceived stress is the extent to which people feel that the demands on them exceed their ability to cope. So in the case of the HPA axis dysfunction, perceived stress is actually the worst kind. So if you are looking ahead or looking forward and thinking about something that's coming in the future and having a perceived stress or thinking that this is going to cause stress to you, that is actually can be more damaging to your HPA loop than any other of the emotional, mental, or physical stressors. So when long-term stress persists, as I was saying, from any of these categories, an HPA axis dysfunction ensues. And this condition is most intimately connected to the overproduction of cortisol and norepinephrine, which are the 2 main stress hormones. Some of the common symptoms of HPA axis dysfunction are things like depression, anxiety, food cravings and food sensitivities, fatigue, lack of sleep or difficulty sleeping, and even difficulty in waking after a full night's rest as well is a symptom. A decreased ability to handle stress, dry skin, low body temperature, unexplained hair loss, diarrhea, constipation, dizziness upon standing, unwanted weight gain, especially around the midsection, a weakened immunity, lowered libido, brain fog or cloudiness. And one of the interesting things about this HPA axis dysfunction is that when the brain goes into fight or flight mode, it focuses on survival rather than making memories. And so this is one of the things I especially like to hone in on, is that when we are experiencing these long extended periods of stress, we're unable to really make the memories that we want to make and remember with our families. And so that's something to be aware of as well. PMS and other hormonal issues, and then also thyroid problems. The HPA axis dysfunction affects every hormone in your body and every neurohormone in your body as well. But the main hormones that it affects are cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and DHEA. And all of these are tests that can be done to actually diagnose this condition. So now let's talk a little bit about how we can minimize stress, how we can overcome stress, and how we can manage our lives in a way that combats and builds up, that combats the buildup of stress in our lives. So I'm going to give you 7 strategies today that you can incorporate in your life to overcome stress and step into your Wonder Woman. So number 1, renew your mind and watch your words. Reframe your stressful situation and change your beliefs, change the beliefs that you have about some things. Make a mindset shift. So this can make a huge difference. One of the things that I encourage people to do is eliminate everything from your schedule that is not bearing good fruit. Really look at the things that you're doing with a fine-tooth comb and either eliminate it completely if it really isn't bringing you joy, peace, progress, or growth, or switch it to another season, a season where it will make sense and fit in better into what you are trying to accomplish. And even when you switch it into another season, that will help for things to be a bit lighter in your schedule. Another point is don't compare your fruit. Just because your friend's daughter is in field hockey doesn't mean you have to stretch yourself thin to put your daughter in it as well. Learn how to practice what I like to call the shrug therapy. Don't try to control things that are out of your control. This doesn't mean that if you're practicing, the shrug therapy that you don't care. It simply means that you're casting your cares. Also, make sure that you watch your words. So instead of telling yourself you are overwhelmed, tell yourself you're excited. In fact, the feeling that is produced in your body when you are nervous is the same feeling that is produced when you're excited. People who see their nervous energy as excitement perform better on anxiety-producing tasks like taking tests and like public speaking. And instead of telling yourself things like, I'm so busy, tell yourself, I'm so productive. I'm being productive. Another suggestion is to view your stress and anxiety as a power boost that will help you to get things done and perform miracles. You probably won't be any less stressed and anxious, but you will get the benefits of both cortisol and DHEA release, and that makes a big difference in how you feel in the long run. I personally had to change my mindset about my own plan. And whenever I didn't complete something that was in my planner that day, I would always say to myself, I was supposed to go to the grocery store, but I didn't. I didn't make it today. And I realized that over time, forming my sentences with the supposed to, whether it was in my head or whether I verbalized it out to someone else, it made me feel as if I was a failure and unable to complete a task that was scheduled. So I had to purposefully and intentionally change my words. So instead of looking toward the things I didn't complete, I simply, quietly shifted the outstanding task to another day and then verbalized all of the tasks. Even if it was just I finished laundry, I verbalized all the tasks that I completed in that day. So number 1, renew your mind and watch your words. Number 2, Improve the way your body flushes cortisol. So you can actually force this to happen by doing things like self-massage, rubbing your own shoulders, your own arms, your own legs. I like to take time and do this as often as possible when I get out of the shower. So, for me, my 2 times a day routine gives me an opportunity to incorporate 2 sessions to help with cortisol flush. And we need to, as women, I'm just going to tell you, we need to, as women and as mommies, reclaim our bathroom time. I like to say that the bathroom is a mommy's greatest and most cost-effective hideaway and retreat. Another way that you can improve and help to flush cortisol from your system is taking time for the big O. Yeah. Spend some romantic time. I don't even know. If my eyelashes were just fluttering, that's the best that I can do. I'm always working on my winks. But spend some time. Spend some time, some romantic time with your significant other. Because oxytocin is known to help release cortisol. So fit it in once per week. If you have a rebounder or a trampoline, you could also use that as well to help to flush out the cortisol. And you don't have to do any tricks on it, on the rebounder. Just get on there, do some gentle jumping up and down, and that will do the trick. Another option to flush out the cortisol is something called shaking. Now, this world-renowned psychiatrist, Dr. James Gordon, has been working with people who have been through the worst kinds of trauma, such as war, natural disasters, rape, even slavery, and he's been working with them for more than 20 years. And he recommends using a method called shaking to help relieve tension and stuck emotions. It's found to be soothing, even for those people dealing with these extreme kinds of stresses. So shaking can have great benefits as a calming tool for anyone who's trying to soothe their nerves. So the process, it only takes 10 minutes. So this is why I love it, and I want to recommend it to you guys. So what you do is you pick 2 songs that are around 5 minutes long and that have a good beat, something that you can dance to. So set yourself up to play these on, an audio device, in your house. And then plant your feet shoulder width apart and bend your knees slightly. And then just take some time, to notice how your body feels. You want to relax your shoulders and close your eyes. And as the music begins, you shake from your feet up through your chest, into your shoulders, into your head and your arms. You let your jaw hang open and just shake, just shake, just shake, just shake. Pick up the pace a little bit, and it's okay to look silly. Just keep going. And after the first song ends, mind you, hit pause and take a 2-minute break. And during that time, you just want to stand still and notice how you feel again. And then turn the music back on and repeat it again with the second song. And I love this activity for moms because you can have your little one get in on the shaking, and it serves to occupy them all the while you're supporting your calm, right? So you're occupying them, you're supporting your calm. It's a 2-for-1 special. It's a double bang for your buck. Number 3, another strategy is earthing. And so what earthing is, it's getting in contact with the earth every day. And so research has shown that connecting directly with the earth's energy can actually improve your health by reducing stress, decreasing inflammation, improving your sleep quality, and boosting your immune response. So the practice of earthing is, it should take about 40 minutes per day when you choose to do it. And what you want to do is take off your shoes, take off your socks, and have direct skin contact with the earth. And you can do this by walking barefoot in the grass, gardening, or you can even lay out in the yard at night and look up at the stars. And I know it's winter, so depending on what climate you're living in, this might be a more spring, summer type of stress relieving activity. But if you're in a warm place, go for it. It's time to do it now. But then you can also, take walks on the beach, and as well as taking a swim in the ocean or in a lake will also help you with grounding as well. Number 4, and this reminds me of the restorative pools in the Wonder Woman movie. And it's the flotation tank, which is also known as a sensory deprivation tank. And the shaking and the earthing, all of those things can be done at the comfort of your own home. But a flotation tank, you will have to find a float center near you to be able to participate in this. So this is basically where a large tub of water is filled with over like 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts. And then due to the high salt content in the tank, it actually makes you float to the top of the water, giving you a sense of weightlessness. And it's deeply relaxing, and it creates a profound sense of calm and contentment. The magnesium in that Epsom salt is known to help balance the calcium levels in your body, helps to reduce your stress, and helps to balance your hormones and normalize your blood pressure. A study that was done in the 1980s found reduced levels of stress hormones and blood pressure after floating, and noted that these effects even were sustained for weeks after they had actually had the flotation experience. A 2005 study actually confirmed that floating is an effective stress relief activity, and that it was at least as effective, if not more effective, than relaxation exercises and some of the types of meditations. So, and while a 1999 study had actually showed an increase in theta waves during floating, which is the same waves that are found when we are in an REM sleep and meditation. And they found that the plasma and the urinary cortisol, along with a host of other hormones and heart rate and blood pressure, all were decreased because due to the flotation tanks. So along with the stress reduction of floating, there have been also other positive results from floating as well, such as increasing in circulation, reducing headaches, and even providing you more of a better restful sleep and pain relief. And let's just, one of the things I feel is great as well is it provides mom a little quiet time alone to float away in her own bubble, if only for a few minutes. So, finding a local float place is a great recommendation for you to start to incorporate stress reducing practices into your life. Number 5 is put yourself on a curfew. Get some rest. The act of physical rest or sleep is crucial to begin reversing a stress response that is in overdrive. So giving the nervous system a well-deserved break from everyday stress allows the system to lower its drive in cortisol production, which in turn allows the body to heal. Rest brings healing, restoration, and replenishment. Here's an interesting fact. Just one night of poor sleep can decrease insulin sensitivity by 33% in otherwise healthy people. And this is why people tend to make poor food decisions when they're tired, and why poor sleep is associated with weight gain. And ultimately, sleep is critical to maintaining not only insulin, but all the other hormones that are affected by insulin. Why is this important? This is important because one of the first things we want to do with managing our stress is making sure that our blood sugars are regulated. Okay. So to help with better sleep at night, give yourself a bedtime routine. Turn off those tablets, turn off those phones, and really allow yourself to unwind. We are exposed to so much blue light nowadays, and blue light zaps our melatonin, which is the hormone that's responsible for sleep cycles. So melatonin is crucial for reparative sleep. So we want to make sure that we turn off those tablets. Many of our phones now have the way that you can decrease the blue light, so you can turn that on 1 to 2 hours before you're about to go to sleep, so that your melatonin can start to produce and take you into a restful night's sleep. They also have blue blocker shades that you can wear if you're going to be watching TV that can also block that blue light, and you can get those on Amazon. You want to make sure that you get to bed before 11 p.m. because your body will get a second wind if you stay up after 11 p.m. And another thing which people don't really realize is that you need to get exposure to some daylight during the day, because this actually helps to restore your melatonin levels, which would help you to get to sleep quicker. Number 6, create a stress-free plate. The first line of defense, as I told you, to improving your adrenals and decreasing those cortisol levels is maintaining a proper blood sugar. So what you want to do is, and don't get at me, but eliminate coffee. Dun, dun, dun. Great substitutes for coffee are things like yerba mate and dandy blend. Now, if you don't want to go cold turkey, it's okay, but at least make a commitment to eliminating caffeine and coffee in the morning, and also make sure that you're never drinking coffee on an empty stomach. The other thing that you want to add to your plate is omega-3 fatty acids, which are an excellent at cleaning up inflammation caused by chronic stress and helps your cells to function better. So a low level of omega-3 in the blood actually means that the brain has less ability to cope with stress. So if you have sufficient amounts of omega-3s in your system, you are going to be able to cope with stress better than someone who doesn't. So incorporating 4 ounces of wild-caught fatty fish to your diet a few times a week has been shown to decrease body fat, increase lean muscle mass, and lower cortisol levels. So you can also add in any other omega-3s such as sardines and grass-fed beef. And if you do not eat animal proteins, the best source of omega-3 for plant-based eaters are things like avocados, walnuts, and chia seeds. Another thing you want to pay attention to is B vitamins, as well as vitamin C, magnesium, and zinc. All of these help our bodies to respond to stress. B vitamins are also used to make neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, which support happy moods. So this is an important component of cognitive function, estrogen regulation, and stress response. You want to eat a multicolored diet, and so which means that your foods are rich in nutrients, which will help to support and optimize your adrenal glands. So you want to eat dark colored foods in particular, like blueberries, blackberries, beets, black beans, kidney beans. These are all especially nourishing to their adrenal glands. Other vegetables that are deeply nourishing to the adrenals are things like celery, escarole, asparagus, bitter dark leafy greens like kale and dandelion. These are packed with things like magnesium and fiber, as well as antioxidants that can help to maintain what? Stable blood sugars and keep the toxins out of your digestive tract as well. Sea vegetables are also something that you want to add into your plate. Things like kale, and then homemade bone broths are an exceptional source of trace minerals, and trace minerals are very important in supporting optimal adrenal function. One thing I want to have you be careful about, though, is to be careful not to decrease your calories, because this increases glucose, which, like I've been saying, we want to make sure that we balance our blood sugar levels. And so you want to not go low carb when you're dealing with stress. Lastly, number 7, know your triggers. The key, the key to all of this is to plan ahead of time for the inevitable stress, right? That perceived stress. Plan ahead of time so that you can not have to be sidelined by the stress that is imminent. Robert Epstein is a Harvard-trained psychologist who introduced us to 4 ways to healthfully handle and manage stress. In his Epstein Stress Management Inventory for Individuals, also known as ESMI, the participants can test their stress management ability through these 4 areas of competence: reducing or limiting the source of stress, practicing relaxation techniques, correcting irrational thoughts, and learning prevention through planning so that you can avoid the stressors before they even affect you. Epstein, in his years of research on stress management, has found that avoiding stressors through proactive planning is a more effective way of coping with stress than any stress management technique like yoga, meditation, and you can do once and for all. And you're not frazzled and you're not panicky. You can just rest and relax and understand what your triggers are. So you can actually find that if you want to look up, this is actually a test that you can take, and you can look it up, ESMI, and you can actually take that stress evaluation, which will help you to be better prepared for the stresses that are to come. So I just want to thank you so very much for joining me today, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Bianca Patterson. That's at BIANCAPATTRSON. But before I leave you, wondrous women, I thought I would be I thought that this would be the best place to make my official announcement that I'll be hosting 2 seasonal spiritual wellness retreats in Malibu, California, this June 21st through 24th, and then again in July 26th through the 29th of 2018. Make sure that you save those dates and follow me on all of my social media outlets at Bianca Patterson for details. Please also feel free, to connect with me by emailing me at askbianca@biancapatterson.com. I want to leave you with this quote from Karen Brody. She says, "The world needs the fully alive, well-rested you, not the exhausted you. Imagine a world where women make rest and rhythm a priority and operate more from their full power." I'll talk to you soon. Be made whole.